Hello, Drawing and Painting 1 class. This is the project we're going to do. We're going to do your drawing of the shoe that you should have photographed and then printed out. And then I trimmed this down. I printed out the shoe as big as I could on a regular sheet of paper, and I trimmed it down so it didn't have a lot of wasted space. I also got rid of the background here, so that's just white. That way I didn't waste any ink. Now we're going to be enlarging this drawing and putting it on this size sheet of paper. This is the same size used for your 2-point perspective. Now, what I want to do is, first of all, if I put it on here, I want to check to see if this thing is taller than it is wider. I wrote top on here, okay? That is going to be the taller side. So I'm going to want to put it on in this direction. That way it occupies more space. I'm not going to put it on here this way in the horizontal position, okay? So now we're not going to draw on this is the good paper. We're going to start with newsprint. You're going to get a sheet of newsprint, and I've got that in the drawer over there near the door. And I'm going to get a sheet of newsprint. It's really big. You'll cut it down to about the size of this drawing paper that we had before, okay? So what I'm going to do is, if you remember the video I just showed you on the diagonal enlargement method, we're doing that same thing. So this is the top. I'm going to turn it this way, okay? And I'm going to just place it down here in the corner, just like this in the corner, okay? Now I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm going to draw a diagonal line right through this corner right here. So right through there, I'm going to draw a diagonal line, and I'm going to do it in a regular pencil. All I'm really trying to do is see, where does it run off the paper? It runs off the paper about right there. Okay? So I'm going to take this to the paper cutter, and I'm going to cut this off right there. Then I know that this, I'll do it darker. I'm going to cut it off right there and get rid of all that stuff up here, okay? That way I know that this sheet of paper is the same as this. This is only a little bit bigger, okay? Now I've done that ahead of time, and I've got this, okay? Now I'm going to put a grid on both of my drawings, okay? So how I'm going to do that is with the shoe here, I'm just going to, you can actually do it on the back. It doesn't really matter when you fold it. I'm just going to fold the shoe up like this, okay? So fold it in half again, okay? Fold it in half again. And crease it real deep so it's got a real nice crease. Now I'm going to fold it in half one more time, but the paper's getting pretty thick, so you might just open it up and then just fold it this way, okay? So I fold it like that. Now what I did is I just put a bunch of creases on my paper, which basically gives me 4x4 rectangles or squares, okay? What I'm going to do then is, I can't see those very well. And now I could draw over them with a pencil. The problem is with a pencil, you might lose where the pencil is in some of these darker gray areas. So I like using a colored pencil because I can see the lines a little bit better. So I'm going to lay that on top of the shoe, and I'm going to go over those creases. Because if you don't, when this paper gets flat, it really gets hard to see where the creases are. Okay? So I'm going over those creases and putting my grid over the top of the boot. Now remember, this grid is just a method to do your drawing more accurately when you go to enlarge it. Because it's pretty hard to enlarge a small drawing and make it much bigger without losing or getting off on the proportions. Okay? So I've got my grid, like so. And I just want to make sure the top was there. I got to make sure this was the top. I don't quite remember if this was the right way. Nope, this is top, okay? So now I'm going to fold up this the exact same way. So I'm going to take that and fold this up. Okay, there. Fold that in half again. There. There, open it up and fold it one more time. Right there. And then I'm going to draw lines on this. We already did it ahead of time on another sheet. This is one that I drew lines on. Okay? So now I'm going to be transferring the drawing of my shoe here onto this bigger sheet of paper. So I don't get confused, I'm just going to number my squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. I like going letters on this side. A, B, C, D. Okay? Then what I'm going to do is take my pencil and I'm going to proceed to start doing my enlargement. Now I can see right here that the boot is running right near this line. I'll level these two. 1, 2, 3, 4. A, B, C, D. Okay? So now I use this to help me draw it. Now I can see that this part of my boot, I don't want to use my red pencil because it'll get mixed up. See how these laces, they're all kind of confusing? I'm just gonna draw kind of back right here, and then I'll draw the laces in later. So this part of the boot is running right along the edge here, and then starts arching right into this corner here. So right into that corner. Now here's the front of the boot down this way. It leaves this square. This is the halfway mark. This is the quarter way mark. So it's leaving about the quarter way mark. So about here. So I put these marks on this. This will help determine where things should be. So you can see this is halfway mark. This is over a little from halfway. So I put a couple marks on here, and it kind of just helps me to draw my shoe a little bit more accurately, but still have kind of a flowing line. Don't be like, like a robot from spot to spot, okay? So basically you're gonna use this to get your shoe in there. So I'll put some other marks. I can see that the back of the shoe right here is coming right in this corner, okay? And then the front kind of comes down here. So there's my front of my boot. And now this runs up here. If I take C, and that's in half, this is a quarter, that shoe is rubbing at about a quarter of the way over. So right about here is where it starts to go up. And now I got a wrinkle that's halfway up here, and the boot comes out over there. And I got this little loop that's up on this side. And then eventually, so I'm drawing it kind of fast and sloppy, but you get the idea. So I'm doing this, and I'm gonna draw basically my boot, and you've got this round thing that's in here. That runs down in this area and comes up there. And he's got some wrinkles in there. And then my laces, I got a lace that comes down like this. Now, some things, if my lace was not quite exactly the way this lace was, it's probably okay. But I'm gonna make sure that like these, the areas where the holes are spaced evenly. So sometimes what I'll do is even take like a little piece of scrap paper and kind of put a mark on it just so I make sure that these are spaced about the same going down like this. I'll put marks there, and I'll start working on those little grommets where the laces come out. And eventually I'll get my drawing more finalized. I'll draw this part of the boot here. I'm going really fast just so you get the idea. And then it's got these things coming up like this, kind of like that. And then this boot comes down here and here, and there's some stitches along there. And then I got laces that are in this area and so on. So you get the idea, okay? So what you're gonna be doing here is once you get your drawing enlarged and everything looks good, okay, then you're gonna do just like we did when we did those geometric shapes, okay? You're gonna take this and you're gonna put it underneath a clean sheet of paper on the light box, and you are gonna actually it goes this way, and you are gonna lightly trace it, really lightly trace it, and then basically, you're just gonna use this, and just like we did with the little shoe square, you're just gonna do the whole thing instead of just the square. So what I'm really looking for is that nice range of value from light to medium to dark, and with a light line here, and the laces are light, and the grommets, look at right here, the grommets, you've got sparks of light next to sparks of black. So I wanna get all those details in there. I really want this to be your best drawing so far. So that's what we're doing. So let's get going. Your newsprint is in the drawer. Print these off, maximum size. Make your grid on there. Do the diagonal enlargement method, and then transfer it on the light box over here. If the light box is occupied, you can just take this and tape it up on the window, and it'll work just like a light box. Okay, get going.